talking about legacy. So Conor Ben back, second fight since his suspension, right? And he fought what was my guy's name? Peter Dobson.
Yeah,
Was
Peter
it?
Dobson from the he's from the New York area as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
he's from the Bronx, undefeated. He was undefeated. And I followed his story a little bit. He used to hoop. Hoops was his thing, but he didn't really have the academics. So when he kind of like fell off the basketball team due to academics, he kind of got into boxing, but he never took it too seriously. And then he went to Golden Gloves 1 year, lost, came back the next year and won. So when he won, he kind of stuck with it. But he hasn't been able to consistently get the fights. I think it's been almost 2 years since his last fight. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe like 18 months or something to be exact. But he
yeah,
comes in, it's supposed to be a layup for Conor Ben. Conor Ben's supposed to come in there, look great, dominate. And I mean, I do honestly think Conor Ben won that fight, right? But it probably wasn't the best performance. But now it asks the question. So this is 2 fights gone to decision. We're assuming now he's off the performance enhancing drugs. So is that something telling, or is he stepping up in competition? What do you think is happening there while we're not seeing the destroyer anymore?
I'm gonna be honest, is definitely showing more evidence that he was on the juice. The man's was juiced to the gills, boy. Because this last fight, he was supposed to stop him. He's supposed to get him out of there, especially given his previous fights. And you can even tell, and then just from the testimony of other fighters like Chris Algieri, like when he said he got stopped, he was like, yeah, something was just like off. And Chris Algieri fought the best of the best. He's fought Errol Spence. He's fought. Go ahead. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, Chris Algier, and I think Chris Van Heerden said something too, right? I think
Yes,
both of them said
they
something, right?
both said something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and Van Heerden said the same thing. Like it was just like so and then now after he gets caught, and then now when he comes back and fights, you can kind of say the first fight maybe the layoff affected him, but now the second fight, and then you could tell like he started getting a little tired. He's always explosive, right? He's always strong and explosive, but I think this fight he started picking things up once he kind of got tired. He finished the fight strong, but you can just tell like something is a bit off. Like he's losing a bit of umph, which
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah,
left in the needles.
because
Devin Haney's voice.
we still saw the agility. We saw like the veracity on some of those punches, but it just wasn't having the effect that we're used to seeing it have, right? And it's just like,
Right.
something wasn't there. And this fight was at 150 and a half pounds or something like that. It wasn't at 147,
Nope.
and I think the previous fight might have been at 154. So, seems maybe he's having problems making welterweight. So I don't really know what he's in the midst of doing. But something's definitely up. Maybe I'll give him a third fight to see. But like I said, he was landing relatively clean shots at certain points. But and maybe Dobson's just a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? He just kept coming forward, just kept coming forward. You know what I'm saying? But he couldn't get him out of there. And like I said, I know this is the second fight since the performance enhancing drugs. So we got to keep an eye on that. But after he wins, the best promoter in boxing was there, my man Bill Haney. So, and I don't know, it's like, bro, what do they want from Devin Haney? But I mean, it's their career, so Devin, Bill was like, if we could get the opportunity to line something up, we'll line something up with Devin, but Devin's at 140. It's like, bro, this dude didn't even make 147. It's like, so Devin, are you just about to just fight anybody at any weight? Like, it's getting confusing to me. But
I think he'll fight him at 147. I think so.
147. Okay.
Yeah, I think if they fight, I think it'll be at 147.
Yeah, but now Connor then jumps on Twitter and he calls out a few guys, right? And I don't have the list in front of me right now, but I know Devin Haney was on the list, Errol Spence was on the list, Marios Barrios was on the list, Mario Barrios was on the list, and there's probably like 2 other guys I can't really remember right now, but notably for me, Jerron
Eubank
and
Jr.
Eubanks Jr. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
then
Brooke.
Boots wasn't on the list, and previously he was saying how he would fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? Crawford wasn't on the list, so obviously it's not really a title thing for him. He's just looking to fight certain guys. So I don't know. Maybe he thinks these guys are beatable that he's calling out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm surprised Boots wasn't on the list because he was saying he would step up to the plate and fight Boots. And these are like two young guys at the time. I thought they were the next generation, even though I have my opinions on who was better than who. But I thought Boots, Conor Ben, and Virgil Ortiz was the
Jeez.
next wave of the welterweight division. So, what makes you think What do you think about him leaving Boots off the list? Why do you think he did that?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest, but I do think it's because based off of Boots' last performance and trajectory of where Boots is going, he kind of was like, that might be a far cry of, first, the chance of me beating him is probably slim to none, right? And then he's also weighing into like the reward system amongst that, right? Like, yeah, if he beats Boots, it's a high reward, but also it's a higher risk, right? If he comes and just walk through me and destroys me, that not only destroys me as a maybe me as a person, but it also destroys my career in a sense, right? Especially me getting the backlash of me juicing. Whereas with Devin Haney, very beatable, a guy that's a 140 pounder. If he fights at 147, that's a guy coming up in weight, very beatable there. Errol Spence, given his last performance against Terrence Crawford, man, if he looked the same going against Conor Ben, we don't know who wins that fight, right? Just because Errol Spence didn't really look like his normal self. And then, of course, we know with Eubank Jr., that's been a fight that's been brewing for quite some time, and then, of course, Brooke as well. So
Oh
I
yeah, he
think,
called out Kell Brook and Mario Barrios. Kell Brook was the
yeah,
other guy, but I thought Kell Brook was
yeah,
retired too or something.
yeah, he's like, that's like an easy stuffing. And then Barrios he's lost fights, right?
Mm.
Last fight he lost at 147 was against Keith Thurman. Got stopped by, Javante Tank Davis at 140 pounds. Those are his two
But does
losses.
have the Ugas win though.
But he does have the Ugas win, but Ugas at this point is but it's
No,
still a good win. But I don't think it's a win where it makes Mario Barros dangerous, if you get what I mean, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if him and Conor Ben fights, I don't know who wins that fight, if I'm being 100% honest. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it just he picked people who are beatable.
Yeah, or people that he thinks is beatable. Because like one thing I'm not gonna do is I have to see more of Spence, right? Because he looked pretty bad in the last performance, but Terrence might just be that great. You know what I'm saying? Terrence might just be that great. So if he gets in there with Conor Ben, who knows? Conor Ben could be in a world of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney, I don't know. I just think Devin needs to sort things out at 40 right now. But Barrios, Kell Brook, Eubanks. I don't know. Eubanks is a bigger guy, so I really don't know there. That might just be like a money grab, and the Kell Brook thing might just be like a British money grab. The Barrios one, yeah, I would probably favor Conor Ben in that one, but the Spence one is interesting. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's interesting because we have to see, like, is Spence just like declining, or Terrence just that great? You know what I'm saying? Or other obstacles, whatever they may be. But
Yeah. Yeah,
nevertheless,
I think Errol still beats Conor Ben, but I don't if the Errol that fights Terrence Crawford comes and fights Conor Ben, I do think Errol will kind of struggle. I think
yeah.
he'll struggle, but I think he will win.
Here's the thing, and I'm not saying he can't, but Connor has to be able to hurt him because that's what Terrence was constantly doing.
That's
Terrence was
true.
constantly hurting him. So
That's true.
if Connor's not hurting him,
That's true.
then it's not gonna. And I mean, we know Connor, he doesn't have the same skill set or fighting style that Terrence has, so it's gonna look stylistically different. But if he can't hurt him, then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But nevertheless, they go
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
back
I'm
back
thinking
to
of Conor Ben on the eggs. That's no, you're right.
yeah,
But given his last two
in,
performances, yeah, you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
In the words of Errol Spence, exactly right, because Conor Ben threw shots at him on Twitter, and Errol Spence did like the little egg emoji, like exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, like all these like guys like blaming like, oh, I ate this and I ate that, and I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know. I've never been VADA tested. Maybe I ate something, been on something, and I didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but like Spence he's back on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? He's back Twitter fingering. So, he's gonna take his shots at people. We know he's done that in the past, at Conor Ben in the past, at Blair Cobb.
Yeah.
So, but Ben has not been fighting at 147 for the last two fights. Errol Spence is not trying to fight at 140. So can that be made at 54? Doubt it with the cross promotional networks, but maybe that'll be a good if the Terrence Crawford thing falls apart, which I don't think it has, but as the internet's kind of brewing, maybe that'll be a good comeback fight for Spence and for Conor Ben, like to show like, listen, it don't matter if I'm on this or off that, I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully we can see it sooner rather than later. At the end of the day, we all for big fights, man. That's what we want to see. Entertaining fights and competitive fights. That's really what matters most.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Before I, turn it over to the our channel supporters, I guess, one thing too is, if he can't make 47, Virgil's at 54. So that could potentially be a big matchup as well. Maybe two guys who were at 47 at the same time can't really make 47. Maybe they could fight at 54. But nevertheless, like, comment, subscribe. We definitely took a look at the analytics, getting a good amount of views. We really appreciate it, but they're not all converting subscribers. So, just hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't hurt anybody, really helps the channel grow. Subscribe. Bunch more videos coming soon.